Welcome to Fight Night Hearthstone Edition, featuring the top 8 players around the world. With 10,000 in prize money and regional pride on the line, who will go home the Hearthstone champion? This is Fight Night! Welcome back, everybody, to another edition of Fight Night here at ESGN TV. We've had a lot of fun this week with some of our Hearthstone players, but in the end, Team DogeHouse defeats Praise Ragnaros by a score of 3-1. But we have one more show match for you guys. It's the ace match for some glory and extra prize money. As we get set up and find out who our players are, let's take a look at some of the highlights of the past week.
Oh my goodness, I can't believe it! Artosis draws the fireball, it's over! Wow.
Team DogeHouse couldn't be happy. Ekon couldn't be happier. Team DogeHouse will take the win, 3-1. After some ridiculous games, it's time for the ace match. Team DogeHouse, Praise Ragnaros, it's time to reveal your players. All right, it's Gnimsh from Team DogeHouse and StrifeCro from Praise Ragnaros. Gentlemen, on the stage, shake hands. Good luck. May the cards be in your favor. Welcome back to the desk, everybody. I'm joined by Artosis to help commentate the match, and we have an exciting rematch between StrifeCro and Gnimsh.
I'm super pumped for this, man. These are the two best players of the tournament, I think, right? If you really look at it objectively, StrifeCro has won every match so far. He's the only one that won today. He won two matches in the previous best of 5, and Gnimsh has clean sweeped in both of his regular matches, only losing to StrifeCro in the ace.
That's right, so you can make an argument this is an opportunity to prove himself as the best player and see if he can win it for his team. Game number 1 has begun. It's going to be Mage versus Warlock. We're ready, getting underway with the action.
A lot of strategy going in here. We just kind of laughed when he all killed with the Warlock when he wasn't supposed to.
Yeah.
Keep going with the Warlock, man. You're hot right now. No problem.
Absolutely. And I think he was bringing up a good point where he's just trying to feel out where Warlock can place, but you're saying how much he can take off of his opponent. At the time it was Monk. How many games can he take off StrifeCro, you think, with his Warlock?
If he can get one game with the Warlock deck, we're good. And especially because he's playing against the Frozen Giants of StrifeCro. StrifeCro is really great at this deck, and this deck was literally made to kill Warlock. So this should be an impossible game, but he's Gnimsh, and let's see if he can do it.
Yeah, he can get a pretty good start. Maybe it can be what he needs. StrifeCro, meanwhile, has a flurry of 2s and an Arcane Intellect and a Cone of Cold, excuse me. And so from here, turn 2 doesn't really have many options.
I think for me personally, I coin out a Frostbolt here, to be honest.
Take it down.
I think that you prevent every single point of damage you possibly can. And if Demon Fire comes out, then that's a lot of damage, and to me, that's hard to deal with.
Yep. Or even something like this, a Blood Imp to reduce the ability for Frostbolt to do anything without using the coin. And now that the turn's been passed, StrifeCro has missed his opportunity to Frostbolt.
Yeah, he has. You know, he could try something like... Well, he could Cone of Cold to kill that off, or he can just wait for later. He already has a Frost Nova and his one Doomsayer in his hand. So, I mean, that's going to clear the board almost no matter what.
And here, in this case, do you think playing the Doomsayer would be good? Well, he's already thinking about it.
Yeah, I think it's fine. How are you going to get that much damage? He has 2 on the board, and Soulfires do 4, so he'd have to spend at least, like, 3 additional cards to get rid of this. He's just going to let this stuff die.
Yeah.
Attack for 2, that's it.
And maybe use the turn to life tap and see you can gather for his next turn.
He could Harvest Golem, but that leaves it open to a ping afterwards. So now I think you're right. I think a life tap here and an attack is all that it should be.
Keep in mind that this match has big implications for money. If Team DogeHouse ends up taking the series, if Gnimsh ends up winning it, then their team receives $4,250, while a win for StrifeCro would be $500 for his team.
Yeah, and that's a nice little increase, especially for my team, so you know who I'm rooting for Rodan.
A big payout.
Yeah. Well, this is a really great place for StrifeCro. He's going to go ahead and draw a couple cards. He's only lost 3 health, and he's going to hit 4 mana with only 3 health missing. So you can't actually really do better than that with Giants against Mage.
And also he improves his position because next turn you can drop a Mountain Giant as well as picking up an important card in Ice Block.
Well, that's perfect, right? I mean, he's going to have a lot on the board against just a couple smaller minions. And then he can go right back to freezing as soon as this Giant's out there.
All right, so the Mountain Giant has now been placed, and how will the Warlock respond? Oh, StrifeCro, you don't usually see him tossing out the trash talk.
Yeah, he's getting a little bit cheeky, isn't he? All right, so here I think you throw down Sylvanas, right? If you throw down Sylvanas, maybe you can steal that Giant at some point?
Potentially, because in this kind of deck, you don't see things like Polymorph to...
Yeah.
It just doesn't really happen
I
in
think
those
that he
Giants
doesn't
deck.
run one, right? Yeah, he does not run any straight-up removal.
So I do think Sylvanas would be a good play. And then just kind of deal with the fact that the Giant's there, because he is going to hit you for 8.
Yeah, he could Leroy into it, but the Leroy is specifically in this deck to try to help kill mages, because, you know, you do need that little bit of extra reach, but... We'll see. I mean, Gnimsh knows best when it comes to aggression.
Yeah, and it's the same kind of situation too. If you use a Soulfire on a minion instead of the mage itself, then it kind of reduces your own ability to try to get it immediately, that burst damage, and overwhelm your opponent. Similar to how a mage doesn't want to use fireballs or pyroblasts on minions as well.
Well, he's still thinking about it. You know, there are a few different ways to kill it. He could Shattered Sun and attack with both minions and Soulfire, but that's a lot of cards being used and a very valuable one, and Leroy Jenkins may be discarded. He could use the Leroy, but I don't think that's good. And it looks like he's going to go Sylvanas, which I think you and I can agree with.
Yeah, and just go and attack as much as you can. And let's see what StrifeCro can respond with. He does have Cone of Colds, and he's about to draw another card.
I think he just freezes, right?
Yeah.
From here out, like... If he can freeze each turn, that's fantastic.
He could.
Start attacking for 8. Like that. This game is going to go his way really, really fast.
Absolutely. And he wants to use things like Frost Nova. He doesn't want to do damage to help Sylvanas die quickly, because if for some reason he gets it to 4 health with a Cone of Cold or something, then you can Soulfire and steal the Giant.
Really good point there, Frodan. In fact, that could be what happens if he does do Cone of Cold. I was actually thinking Cone of Cold was the best play at first, but you might be right about that. But that is trading 3 cards to take that Giant.
Not necessarily the best in that case, but also I like this, doing the Novice Engineer, and he is thinking about the Cone of Cold.
Yeah, looks like he will. He's saying go ahead and Soulfire that if you want to.
Take my Novice Engineer, maybe instead.
Well, he's already got him down to 20, so that's pretty darn strong. Wow, that's a lot of damage in his hand right now. He could deal 10 this turn very easily.
Actually 14. If he wanted to add Soulfire and Power Overwhelming to it.
So he has him down to about 10 life, kind of, if you get my meaning.
Yeah, of course. And
with that Novice out, killing his own Sylvanas is just too risky.
Yeah, absolutely. So he has minions like his Shattered Sun Cleric or his Fairy Dragon. Does he... I don't think really he should start life tapping? Or what do you think? Where's the balance in this case?
I think the balance is almost gone already. He's at 20 health. There's no realistic way that he can get rid of this Mountain Giant. And like, even if he Leroyed and did like 14 damage, let's say, we're just going to see some freezes coming out of his opponent. StrifeCro is going to have so much damage on the board, like over 10 because of the whelps. And that gives a 2-turn clock. And with that Ice Block already in his hand, it's over. So he can't do that, is what I'm trying to say.
Okay, so... Instead, Gnimsh is just going to fill the board as much as he can and pass it back over to StrifeCro, who has a flurry of options. He has, not only will he do 9 damage, or guaranteed.
That's a lot of damage.
He also has 2 ice blocks. Oh, wow.
Well, what are you going to do, man? That's basically an unstoppable situation, isn't it? I mean, he's frozen everything. What possibly could be done here?
If he picks up an Iron Beak Owl, he can silence one of his own minions, but then what do you silence?
He has 6 in hand with 2 Frostbolts.
Oh!
Wait. That's not quite
18
enough.
That's 18 damage.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage. 18 damage.
Oh man, imagine if he was able to push out a little bit more.
But the thing is, he just literally dies next turn.
Yeah. He doesn't really have an answer. He could kill off the Mountain Giant and delay the inevitable.
You know what he could do as well is he could Leroy and use both Power Overwhelmings for the hit, and then Soulfire his Sylvanas to try to steal it. But the thing is, there will be 2 more Whelps out.
Yeah, and you don't want to do... Well, yeah, and he also could do something crazy, like you can use Power Overwhelming on Sylvanas to make it get killed at the end of the turn anyways and try to just whiff something.
That's a really good point, actually.
But it's still really hard to pull off.
Yeah, there's so much on the other side of the board. You're gonna steal something dumb like a Whelp, but he is Gnimsh, so I mean he might just grab the Mountain Giant.
Even if you get the Giant though, I feel like at this point it's almost 2 turns away from the point where you feel like it's almost surefire loss. Tough situation for Gnimsh. He's thinking about the Leroy Jenkins and the Power Overwhelming.
Yeah, this is... Well, I guess he's decided to kill this off. Okay. But that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 6 damage that he can see.
Wow, and then he trades all of his cards away and ends his turn.
Yeah, and so we see 4 damage there, and we have the 2 Frost Bolts. This is looking pretty tough, Rodan.
Yeah. Well, we also have another Cone of Cold here drawn for StrifeCro as he got in, as well as an Acolyted Pain. Plenty of ways to get cards, but interestingly enough, he doesn't have many offensive options at the moment other than the Frostbolts.
Yeah, but you know, with those ice blocks, he can basically draw this out for a very, very long time. I love the placements of these minions, by the way. Having the Sylvanas on the end with the Fairy Dragon right next to it, very hard to freeze everything in place.
That's definitely an excellent choice, at least for maximum efficiency. StrifeCro had 10 damage in his hand, and it looks like he's going to go instead for a Cone of Cold. Hasn't really chosen where yet, but I think
the choices are pretty
choice.
similar. Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. That one's a little bit better. Get some damage on that Fairy Dragon just in case. Of course, he does have some taunters in that mirror image as well. He's just kind of waiting a little bit. Like, basically next turn he's at lethal, right?
Yes. He has 4 on the board.
And with a couple taunters, I think StrifeCro right now is 100% certain of his victory. Especially since we already saw the Power Overwhelming Soulfires and Leroy use. That's like all the burst stuff that Gnimsh has.
Oh, look at that. Life Juggler can't really do much for him in Argent Squire. I think Gnimsh knows game 1 is in the books, as there's absolutely 0 outs for him. StrifeCro played excellently.
Yeah, that's 3, 4 damage that we can see. And of course, we already know
the 2
in the hand there's plenty. And StrifeCro showing off a little bit.
Actually... He can't kill him this turn. Oh, he does. Just kidding. He has just in there.
There you go.
Wasn't counting correctly, but StrifeCro was counting perfectly. He takes game number 1 in this best-of-5 series. Gnimsh Warlocks go down.
Yeah, that was crazy one-sided. But you know what? Gnimsh, he pulled a lot of really good cards there at the end, as he normally does.
So feeling pretty good so far, huh?
Yeah. I'm trying to think what decks he's going to plan to play next. No real words of advice from Praise Ragnaros to their teammate.
Yep, they're like, hey, good job.
Like,
Keep doing what you're doing.
Kill that Warlock deck. It can't always win. I guess they're right. It can't always win. I think the Warlock was definitely the weak deck out. That was like a funny deck that in this second set best of 5 that myself and Gnimsh decided to play. Like everyone else kind of abandoned it. Was like, I don't know, but.
No, I like it.
It did pretty well today, I
and
think.
Throughout the entire series of the week, we've seen the Warlock pickup wins, the Shaman pickup wins, and it shows some nice diversity that there's a lot more classes that are still viable. It's not always about the Mage, Druid, and the Paladin.
You know, I think that's true, and I think that this metagame is like shifting really quick right here, and in fact, I think that we're going to see in the future, because of these fight nights, Priest make a comeback for sure, I think. Not Hunter. Hunter sucks. But
Warrior's still where he is.
Yeah, no, Warrior is not in the greatest. With Druid back, with all these taunts, what are you gonna do with a Warrior deck?
Absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing at all.
We'll find out what's happening in game number 2. Can Gnimsh do anything in this series with either his Paladin or Mage deck? We'll find out starting right now. Ooh, here we go. Mage versus mage, and that's where he's going to end up picking.
Now that the headphones are on, we can definitely say that this is aggro mage.
Yeah.
This is Gnimsh's bread and butter. This is his favorite deck. He knows it inside out. He knows every possible draw, every possible move. So we'll see if he can do it.
All right, and an interesting start here for StrifeCro. He gets the Blood Mage Thanos and Cone of Cold, one of the best combinations in the early mid game. But other than that, no real early game application.
Reasonable. You know, it kind of sucks to have the Molten Giant. Realistically, the Blood Mage Thanos, you don't want this early, but I love starting with a Frostbolt. It makes me feel a lot safer personally.
Ooh, but look at this. StrifeCro drops a Nat Pagel and tries to get some early draws. Doesn't get it first time, but I don't think there's anything that Gnimsh can do about it.
No, that's going to stay out for at least one more turn. Probably more, in my opinion. I think here the play is to coin out that Harvest Golem. That's going to give you a minion no matter what next turn to be able to buff up with Shattered Sun Cleric.
Yeah, that's true, and that gives him the opportunity to be pretty flexible, because Shattered Sun Cleric is pretty vulnerable by itself, as much as sometimes there are applications of pushing out the Sun Cleric on turn 3 with a coin by itself. Not in this case, especially since Mage has so many answers early on.
Yeah, that can be a little bit rough. He's still side exactly. I think he's maybe just considering slightly the Acolyte of Pain, but I don't think that that's like the best call. I feel like he needs to get the pressure on right away.
Yeah, it's an aggro mage. You want to develop your board versus the other mage.
When you have enough out that they're going to freeze you every turn, throw the Acolyte out then. Let him draw you some cards, you know?
Oh, it's going to be the Shattered Sun Cleric.
Okay, so he's going for a kill on Nat Pagel. That's what's going on here, I guess.
Well, StrifeCro does have the Frostbolt.
I'm a little bit surprised by that, though, aren't you? I mean,
I thought the Harvest Golem was more of the safer play, allows him to, and Gnimsh taking
like
a pretty
this, you
big
can just
risk.
kill, whereas the Harvest Golem comes back as a 2/1, and you can. I mean, I guess what he was really counting on was being able to buff that.
All right, the draw start. Yeah, I agree, Artosis, and I think that it also makes his position that much harder because Nat Pagel goes for another 2 turns.
That's right. Nat Pagel, we'll see how many cards he draws, but he's already drawn 1, and he's already forced a play that you wouldn't normally see out of Gnimsh. So I feel like he's already done his job.
2 Pyros this early on.
Yeah.
Doesn't really help him, but it's still nice to have it at least as the turns develop because nothing's really going on for the first 3 turns, and Aggro Mage can put on 6 to 8 damage really early by now.
Well, he throws out Blood Mage. I think this is just to cycle him, to be honest.
Yeah, get some cards out.
If he happens to not attack him, then okay. You know, may as well have some spell power out there.
Nat Pagel didn't draw on that turn either, and now we have an opportunity for Gnimsh to get some board control.
Yeah. You know, I feel like Gnimsh has some okay plays here. Wow. Well, he just told him that he has a fireball in his hand, I think, right?
And he's gonna go for it? Oh. I mean, maybe just at least threatening, hey, I have something that can target it.
Yeah, I think that, I've watched StrifeCro play a lot of games. He knows that this is a fireball right now. He talks to himself during it and says, he's like, oh, is that, oh, and he always nails what card it is that people are popping out of their hand and testing. So, I think he just gave him a little piece of information. I mean, it's not uncommon to have that in your hand at this early.
Yeah. And it's just funny to see Gnimsh just flirt with the idea many times. Will he, won't he? And he will. Fireball in the Nat Pagel, and that makes Nat Pagel extremely valuable.
Well, that Nat Pagel, like, was amazing. It forced some misplays, well, not necessarily misplays, but some weird plays early on, drew a card, and drew out a fireball. That's like, you don't get a better Nat than that.
While taking no damage.
Yeah, amazing.
Absolutely great. And now StrifeCro has a next turn Mountain Giant as well set up.
That's so solid, man. He's at 30 health going into turn 6. I can't even fathom him losing this game. He has Alex Straws already, he has double Pyroblast, he has a Cone of Cold, 2 Giants in his hand. Like, this literally, I'm trying to think what Gnimsh does here to win, and it's very difficult.
It requires some misplays from StrifeCro, I feel, on his end, unless... I mean, okay, on turn 5, he can drop out like 2 minions and start developing, but he needs to start putting on the damage and the pressure now, but the Doomsayer spares him another turn, and that's essentially what he wants.
Yeah, it's bought him an entire another turn. What does...
Maybe shoot the Acolyte to draw.
Yeah, I guess.
That's
why not?
The only thing he can do with that. Otherwise, every minion he puts out is just wasteful.
Yeah. Like he can do 6 damage to that thing, and that's it. Oh well. So that's another purchase turn, which means Mountain Giant will come out the turn after.
And then he has to deal with the 8/8.
Yeah.
And then starts whacking away.
It's pretty tough, but you know, he could maybe freeze it, get up some taunts, something like that. The thing is, the double Pyro that's there, the Alexstrasza that's there. I think StrifeCro waits till turn 9, Alexstrasza's next turn Pyro, next turn Pyro. Like it's such a solid strategy.
So his win condition has been fulfilled. And now, StrifeCro, let's see what he gets on turn 6, because he's been getting what he needs. Some Mountain Giant and a Frostbolt to add some good damage.
All right, here we go. The Mountain Giant is out. And now we get to see from Gnimsh. What does he do?
Mountain Giant kind of looks a little bit like Mount Rushmore, so I guess that guy did something important at some point.
He is the president of this deck for sure.
Absolutely.
Although I do want to say that the Molten Giant is the first lady. She has the real power.
But there's
in the deck.
2 Molten Giants, so I guess it's pretty accurate.
Yeah. Oh, Frodan.
The Night's Block draw is very useful as well. Man, StrifeCro really has everything
hand,
set.
right?
Yeah.
Good hand.
Pretty good.
Well, the Sylvanas is a good play. You know, because he's going to want to freeze him out. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he could... There's got to be like a Cone of Cold and Ice Block here, I would say. That just sets him up so well for future turns.
Yeah, I mean...
He can actually skip the Ice Block. He doesn't actually need to do it, and he might want that extra ping damage.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point, and you can set it up so that way he doesn't have to lose his Mountain Giant either.
He could set it up so he doesn't even need Alexstrasza. If he just does a Frostbolt here, brings him to 19, double Pyro next 2 turns.
Yeah.
What are the odds of dying in the next 2 turns? I think pretty low.
Especially with the Ice Block also as a backup if anything ever gets too hazy. Let's see what Gnimsh can draw. Novice Engineers.
Yeah, it's not the most impressive hand I've ever seen.
Given the world's biggest drill, they can't take down this Mountain Giant.
No, certainly not. Well,
must cleanse the Sunwell.
I guess we'll see an Argus, right? Set up some
defense.
some defenders.
But then the Pyro starts coming out.
Yeah, the thing is, of course, he can't know that there's 2 Pyros in that hand, so he's saying, all right, let me buckle down, see if I can live a couple more turns. Because if he does get one big swing, look, he has a lot of damage on his side, and there's no freeze left.
He's got 15 right on the board, but here comes the first Pyro.
And, yep, should be hitting that, probably at 3/3. And that reduces the damage by a little bit, but this is 12 damage incoming.
Yeah, now there's no other way for Gnimsh to be able to.
There's no ice blocks in this deck.
There's no ice block. There's nothing.
There's no counter spell.
I hope you like my invention.
So yeah, this is death, unfortunately, for Gnimsh.
He's gonna draw it out and see what he can get, but yeah, I don't even know what he's looking for really in this scenario.
His start was a bit too slow. You know what? The Nat Pagel baited some misplays, in my opinion. I think he needed to actually literally just ignore it and just go for damage.
Yeah, and if you kind of think about it in a way, these kinds of mages, the Frozen Giants, are drawing cards anyways. They're going to be trying to bolster their hand. Sure, you don't want to necessarily let them keep going for it, but if you're going to lose so much early game tempo because of it,
you've got to keep that pressure on. The thing is, I can see also, he's like, well, if this draws 2 cards, then he's going to have extra freeze, and I'm going to attack less and less and less. So I get where he's coming from as well, but, you know, that's
sometimes the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah.
Or the Fire Blast blow.
Yeah, there it goes. There was lethal next turn for Gnimsh, I think, but oh well. Pyroblast is a good card.
Win some, you lose some. In this case, Nat Pagel draws some. And we do have StrifeCro up 2-0 over Gnimsh, as Praise Ragnaros couldn't be more elated at the state of the series.
They look really elated. Of course, you see DogeHouse getting a little massage over here for Gnimsh.
But Gnimsh is experienced. He's been under these kinds of pressures for a while. He's one of the most experienced card players that's competitive.
I think so, yeah. He's an old guy like me, 30 years old, and played in so many tournaments in his life so far. And, you know, he has a lot of wins, but you always have more losses than wins in card tournaments, I have to say.
It can be pretty frustrating, but Gnimsh has been overall still getting the better of the draws, but now he's down to his last opportunity, his Paladin deck. And we talked a lot about Paladin in the past, Dan, but in this specific case, you really think he has the opportunity to pull out 3 big wins against StrifeCro?
There is definitely the possibility to come back. The Paladin deck, you and I have been talking about this up here a lot. It's a deck that can beat anything.
Absolutely, I think so. The cards in it are very versatile. You have lots of mix of late game, mid game power. And I also like these small little things you guys incorporate, like the Black Knights, even though it won't really come into play much against the Frozen Giants, but
yeah,
it gives it just more tools to fight against all kinds of things.
Yeah, actually, we were talking with the other team as well, and we've decided that the Black Knight and Tinkmaster Overspark are the big stories, other than Druids making a giant comeback, the big stories overall of the Fight Nights.
Yeah, a little cameo by Nat Pagel as well.
Yeah, actually, that was pretty cool. That was the first game that I saw Nat Pagel work where I really liked it. I've seen them play him a few times, and I was like, I don't know, guys, this doesn't seem that cool, but that game, he was definitely awesome.
For sure, and he should be proud of that, as you don't see Nat Pagel too often in many decks.
No, certainly not.
As we get ready for game number 3, it's going to be Paladin versus Mage. Gnimsh is on his last life, but we've seen crazy comebacks before. Will it start this time here at Fight Night in the East match of our second round? All right, battle between, in my opinion, the top 2 classes in the game at the moment, Mage versus Paladin.
Oh, you're liking Paladin, yeah? I can't disagree too heavily. We're leaning towards maybe Druid Mage right now, but Paladin is right there. I personally, I'm a Paladin guy, so I don't necessarily agree with all these things, but yeah. Now, Paladin is pretty great, man.
Paladin's good. I like just the versatility of the way you build it. I feel like it's just because Druids still kind of have one type of Druid that you're still going up against. Granted, it's still extremely powerful, but at the same time, I feel like there's cool ways you can build Paladin.
Oh yeah, there's such variety in Paladin decks and so much versatility with their cards as well. You know, it's so tricky, the different ways that you can make them interact. Well, we'll see if that's enough here. I think that this is a pretty solid opening hand.
Yeah, it gives him some good options, some staying power with the Harvest Golem and the True Silver. It gives him the ability to kind of zone off the board.
Well met.
Well, looking at what we see here,
well met.
Because he doesn't have a coin, I would say, yeah, coining out the Novice Engineer is best.
And people say Novice is kind of a soft counter to the Argent Squire because you can trade the health easily, especially if you have a Mage. You ping off the shield and Novice stays alive while giving you the card.
Yeah, definitely the case. Of course, that was a great play. Followed by a great
2
card.
draws.
Yeah. That was a really good draw. He's getting Gnimshed already, man. I'm feeling the comeback. It's coming.
All right, well, turn 2, we have, well, let's see what he wants to do. Pick off the shield first and then ping it.
I think that's by far the best play that he has here. You know, if that wasn't out, that little guy, Loot Hoarder would be great because, you know, we really have a lack of good removal in Paladin decks early on. Or just overall, it doesn't have a lot of removal, but yeah.
Ragnaros.
All right, well, I don't know how... I mean, Rag is quite useful. If you get him out, but that's going to be a card that I think stays in the hand for the whole game, if I had to guess. No!
Ooh, Gnimsh wants to trade.
Well, I want to see him attack, to be honest. Because yes, no, he needs to attack here. I can't think of a reason why he needs to kill off that. He knows what's in the deck. What is that 1 extra damage going to do to him? Nothing, really.
Yeah, I guess. But then when it comes down to that 1 HP, you always feel like, did I do the right thing?
Yeah. Well, now that Blizzard is out, and the thing is, either way, that was going to have 2 health, but I feel like there could be 4 more damage on him. Oh, well.
All right, well, Loot Hoarder is being flirted with a little bit.
Flirted with, indeed. And he'll just pass the turn. And that's pretty annoying, because that trades with both these.
Ooh, another Sun Cleric. To maybe make this Fairy Dragon even more annoying.
Huh. Yeah, I think that this is a great play here.
Yeah.
We must cleanse
Perfectly done. And now he can swing for quite a bit. Of course, the Loot Hoarder will trade with one of these other guys, but this is nice.
Yeah, this is good. It's good pressure. It's still within.
Whoa.
Ooh. Wow, Gnimsh
I'm
playing so safe.
I'm so surprised he's trading like this, to be honest. I guess he... No, I don't quite get it, because I think that as the mage player, you're probably going to want to trade that anyways.
So right now he's sacked 6 damage or 7 damage overall. Mage could be at 17, but the novice engineer could be up with the loot hoarder as well.
All right, well, the Thalnos is out. We'll see if he runs into that now.
He does have the option for Argent Protector and True Silver Champion as well.
Yeah, I think maybe an Argent Harvest Golem isn't terrible. You know that a Blizzard's probably coming next turn, which is why I kind of like the idea of the Argent.
Ooh, yeah, turn 5, you have to be very aware of it. I also...
True Silver to kill the spell power is okay, because that keeps the Fairy Dragon alive at least.
Yeah. Although I do know that at least over in the camp of Praise Ragnaros, they say when you're playing against mage, especially as a paladin, every single hit point matters, and so don't waste your ability to regain anything.
Well, he's kept the Fairy Dragon alive, so that's really good, right? I mean, all those attacks that we were kind of questioning before, now it is going to live through this Blizzard for doing that.
A nice block instead of any kind of Blizzard play.
He's getting scared.
Yeah, StrifeCro taking a really defensive posture.
The fear of Gnimsh, this happens.
And the Argent Protector also to help the Fairy Dragon if any other case. But maybe the Harvest Golems instead.
Love double Harvest Golem here, right? This is...
Yeah, and it actually sets up a way to proc Ice Block next turn.
I think we're going to see the Blizzard. A Blizzard plus Molten Giant is really, really nice.
Yeah, that would be heavy duty. He can even... Molten Giant.
Well, that's...
He can drop the...
Send up a win condition.
Yeah. Right? You can also drop the mirror images to make sure to give some a lot of breathing room, and even Frost Nova if he wants
God,
major security.
Can't complain about this, man. That's a pretty good position all of a sudden. Those Molten Giants, I told you, first lady and second lady right there.
Well, I think the mirror images is better because taking them down, because you have Alex Straza in your hand.
I think, yeah,
and you're going to be doing
mirror image is good.
Anyways.
Yeah,
yeah.
I have to agree with you on that. Mirror image is really strong because it stops any charges as well.
Wow, in this case, mirror image is becoming really clutch, but a big draw.
Oh, that's really good.
Big draw, especially in tandem with Argent Protector.
Yes, that's a perfect combination for right now. I'm loving it. That is fantastic, if you ask me.
Yeah, and
that has truly saved him and given him a chance.
Woo. And Gnimsh also has the opportunity to, well, he also has the opportunity to drop Ragnaros next turn as well, and maybe get really lucky.
No, this is, it's looking, I still am kind of feeling StrifeCro's position, because his hand is just so versatile, but this is really good, man. It's a start.
So if he drops the Blizzard, he still has room for his Hero Power Fire Blast and ping something. Pick off maybe the Argent Protector or some kind.
Well, you know what? When Alex Straza comes out on turn 9, things are going to get real fast. But he can get rid of both of the defenders this turn if he likes to. Like a... yeah, he could do something like a Blizzard and attack both of the taunters.
I'm really weak in everything. And he's now going ahead with the Blizzard. Taking out this and maybe swing directly for.
Oh! A little bit interesting. Okay.
Doesn't want to take it out. All right.
I think...
a great draw.
You know...
You can take out one of the giants.
This is kind of a hard one, but do you think Rag here?
But then if the Rag hits the mirror image...
He's decided to remove
you kill... It's like Rag would kill one of the giants anyways, and the Consecration guarantees it.
Oh, you're completely right on that. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That's
a lot of weak
That was a good play. And this means that this next turn he might pop him. Ooh.
Another Blizzard draw, which is absolutely massive for StrifeCro.
That's pretty damn good. You cannot complain about that. A Blizzard into attack is just so good.
What's also somewhat interesting is Mage is at 9 health, and Ragnaros...
Yeah, he pops him next turn no matter what, actually. Right? Because if he Blizzards here, that's the only way he has to freeze. If he Blizzards, it gives him a 2 on Golem. I very strongly doubt that he'll attack the 2 on Golem, but if he does, then that prevents it, because the Rag is going to...
He might try to kill the Harvest Golem first and then Blizzard, because StrifeCro's a sick player.
Yeah, he is good enough to possibly do something like that. In fact, he could ping it and then Blizzard.
So he has a lot of options at his disposal. no matter what, he knows needs to get board control. Every single point of damage really does matter.
Well, he's got him down to 9. If he was down a little bit more, that rag could be a bit scarier, I guess.
Oof. Blizzard.
What to
And
do?
what other options is he really considering
Well
though here?
met.
I think he's just looking at the different
Well
timings. Like, does he attack right now? Does he ping it? Does he just do a blizzard afterwards and attack in? And I think, of course, that is the best move. Still going to leave him with a little 2-1. But this
Okay.
means that rag is either going to kill the giant, or it's going to help him to pop the shield.
Yep. So in this scenario, Rag is whatever happens is best case.
And that is a perfect draw as well. You play rag
Wow.
here, you attack the... Well, I guess, yeah. I think you attack the mage, you play rag, and you wait, because the next turn you play this.
The only thing that could happen though, okay, so he goes him down to 14 health, and there's no way for his opponent to kill him.
Yeah, he can't do
Okay.
22 damage at 9 mana with this board.
Alright. So
There's...
this is a great situation for Gnimsh, drawing that Garden of Kings, and attacking and proccing the ice block or killing off the
Yeah.
giant gives him immense
Both are-
amount of opportunity.
Both are fantastic.
Raise Ragnaros.
Here we go, let's see.
Big moment. Oh, it procs the ice block.
That's good. I kind of like this. This is giving him... Well, does he have another ice block? I can't
We're about
actually...
to find out.
Okay.
Oh, he has opportunities to draw it. He's got lots of opportunities to draw it.
That's a hard choice, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot that can be done here. Like, he can deal 18 damage. He can bring down to 15 and then deal 8, which is nice as well. He can bring himself up in health.
Either way, he has to either defend himself or deal with the
Yeah.
Ragnaros. So
Yeah.
he can try it Arcane Intellect, drawing 2 cards. If he doesn't get it, any kind of a way to deal with it, then he has to kill it.
I would say so.
But that still doesn't...
Thing is, he might be thinking about Avenging Wrath here. So
That's right, Avenging Wrath, or
Avenging Wrath is
another
pretty
True
scary.
Silver or something like that.
I wonder.
Or
Yeah,
actually,
the
no,
True
that's
Silver
not
is
enough.
just not enough. Okay,
Yeah.
he heals himself
Okay.
and actually just attacks in, giving himself a next turn kill.
And now we do see, oh, wow, an Aldor Peacekeeper
Well,
and the Garden of Kings.
That's 10 mana right there.
wow,
so-
Gnimsh getting the draws 3 turns in a row.
Wow.
Got the
Well, you just-
Consecration,
you-
got the Garden of Kings, got the Peacekeeper.
Yeah, you just play him out. That's
Yeah.
it. That's all there is to it.
Easiest turn in terms of deciding what to do. And I guess the Alexstrasza?
Yeah, you would do it to the Alexstrasza. You can't control what rag hits. Yeah, that's it. I mean,
All right,
the
and then-
Alexstrasza is worth a little bit more, so screw that one up. And attack with the Golem, of course.
And see what you get. All right, and if Gnimsh hits the Molten Giant, then we have ourselves a potentially big finish. Oh, and it hits the Alexstrasza.
All right. Unless he drew
Another ice block.
no,
Or
the
stun
okay, he doesn't have lethal.
Okay.
Does not. He can deal 19 damage.
Man, all that draw.
Oh my god. What do you do here as StrifeCro?
Well, his opponent has
He can do 2
10
arcanes.
damage. Yeah, he can do 2 arcanes and see what he can get, but that also means he really has to come up big in some of these draws. Cone of Cold, Flame Strike.
Not quite.
No?
I think you do another arcane. Because you can also do Cone of Cold here.
Yeah, and you want to draw before it, and you could, if you draw an arcane, you still could get an ice block.
By the way, that Aldor should be on the left side of that column. That would have been optimal.
Yeah, so that way you protect the Garden
Yeah.
of Kings.
And that way you get at least 3 damage from your
Oh,
attack.
man. All these very small, subtle things, but
StrifeCro is looking pretty strong right now.
so if he Cone of Colds, what does he follow up with?
If he
a
Cone of
Fireball?
Colds...
What to
Well, this is where it gets really scary, right? Because you have to decide one way or another he's gambling.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it.
So if you're the most gambling kind of man, what do you do?
The most gambling kind of man. Let's see. The most gambling kind of man, I think you do the attack. Because then you're like, well, I'm
Yeah.
either going to win or lose now.
you Cone of
Next
Cold,
turn.
you Cone of Cold, Fireball him, and then attack.
The thing is, he can easily take out this giant as well. Well, not easily. I guess.
Okay, he's gonna kill
Okay.
off Ragnaros, freeze everything, go
I
for
think
the
this is
safe
the
play.
safest play for sure. And he's setting up Flame Strike.
Oh,
okay,
Nat Pagel.
good turn.
All right.
Good turn.
Oh my goodness! Second Pyroblast.
Well met.
And wow, what an incredible turn of events, but a big draw as well.
Wait a minute, this messes up Matt. Yeah, just slightly messes up. No!
Oh no, he's gonna try to kill off Nat Pagel, and the bait has been taken.
This is.
Oh, but he does still set up a condition of kill, doesn't he? Yeah, it's 13.
Is that 13?
Well, but he can ping easily and kill everything.
Does he
off.
Flame Strike here? What?
If he Flame Strikes, he still buys himself time, but then, yeah, he has such a big card advantage over his opponent.
Oh God.
Yeah, the Flame
My
Strike.
brain is starting to hurt from all this math. All right, so he's gonna play it safe here. He's thinking this will probably draw another attack. I don't think he should have killed that Nat Pagel.
Oh,
that's
no.
that's about as worthless as you can get as a draw
Yeah,
right now.
Inequality. I mean, Gnimsh had some really good draws back to back.
That's the anti-Gnimsh right there. Well, I mean that's 8 damage that could have gone to the face of
All right.
his opponent.
So Gnimsh, I feel, has 1 or 2 more turns left and try to make this happen, but we got a lot of ammo.
This is where Pyroblasts start flying. And unfortunately, Gnimsh doesn't have any way to kill him next turn, and there's a Frostbolt, and that's lethal.
Yeah.
He has to draw something that gains a lot of life.
Something big needs to
Lay on
come right
hands?
now.
That's not Lay on Hands.
And that's not what he needed. And I think that's going to be it.
I believe so. I think
Wow.
this makes StrifeCro the most successful player,
undisputed
man.
most successful player in Fight
Well
Night.
played.
Well played, as the Pyroblast and the Frostbolt will finish it off, and StrifeCro ends Fight Night with a 3-0 sweep over Gnimsh and claims the money back in pride for Team Praise Ragnar.
That's right. StrifeCro, an amazing player. I think after,
Wow.
you know, he's not the most famous player yet, but after all these Fight Nights, man.
Should be one of them.
He absolutely should be. I mean, I've known he's been a great player for a long time, and he just continues to impress everybody. He's the ace both times for them, you know?
Yeah.
He's a great player.
The dude's a beast, and he's a self-proclaimed casual player, but I certainly think he's a professional player. So StrifeCro wins the ace match and gets some bonus money for his team,
Yeah.
as well as get the score somewhat even, but you guys still take the series 3-2.
Yeah.
And what are some of your thoughts overall?
I think that these Fight Nights have been just absolutely fantastic. I think this is the best Hearthstone competition and show that I've ever seen or been a part of. It's been awesome, man. But it's close. It's 1-1 overall, right?
The entire series matches.
We both went 3-1,
Sounds
even
like
though I
we
guess
need a-
they won more overall, but we're not going to count that.
Maybe we need to have another way to decide who's better in the future, but that's going to come down the line. Thank you so much, Dan, for joining us. Thank you so much for helping us with the team formats and everything.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Another great round of Fight Nights, and after it's all over, we have our second place winner, Praise Ragnaros, earning 750 euro. Congratulations. And the first place winners goes to Team DogeHouse 3-1, earning 1750 euros.
This has been a whole new thing for me and my team, and we're certainly excited to come back here and dominate some more.
Hi guys, it was awesome to be here. It's a new thing for me, but I hope I will be here again.
I enjoyed the whole experience. It's pretty cool to see how much work people actually want to put in this kind of stuff.
All right, my experience was really awesome. I had a lot of fun overall.
I had the best Hearthstone matches over here at the ESGN TV studios.
These are some of the best games of Hearthstone I've ever had the pleasure of witnessing, and it's really opened my eyes to just how deep Hearthstone constructed is.
Hi, my name is StrifeCro. I had a great time here, and I gave everyone the beatdown, and I am the nuts. Woo!
Hey everyone, I'm Artosis. I've been competing in esports tournaments for like 15 years now. This has been the most fun I've ever had at one. Really a great time. Shout out to all the doggy fans out there, and of course Savages, who couldn't come. He helped out a lot with the decks we use. And thanks to my team and everyone at ESGN for putting it on.
Well, that about does it for Fight Night Hearthstone here. We had a great couple of weeks. Thank you so much to Team DogeHouse. Thank you so much to Praise Ragnaros for some great games and great action. We're done with Fight Night here for Hearthstone. Next time we come back, we'll see you playing StarCraft. Peace out.